I'm using build deck forms for my floating garage floor. These blocks are 2 feet wide by 2 feet long and 8 inches thick. They have 3 pins on one end that go into 3 sockets on the next block, the way Legos do. Looking in the specifications for the build block, there are instructions for building temporary supports. I will build these temporary walls out of 2x4s every 6 feet all the way across the foundation. 2x8s are then placed every 2 feet across the top of the walls with blocking in between them to prevent rolling. There are also 2x4s that will be used as diagonal bracing all the way down the walls. The first course of build deck blocks are placed so they are overlapping the foam part of the build block walls. I drilled a pilot hole into the structural beam, a little bit smaller than my bolt. If you like my project, subscribe to my channel to see my building progress as I post it. There will be a bolt placed in each pocket of the forms the entire length of the building. The bolts will tie the concrete to the rest of the structure of the house and prevent movement. Setting the blocks was very straightforward, but I was fighting wind for a couple of weeks and had some of my blocks blow across the yard. This was my 3rd time starting to set them. When I got to the jog in the wall, I needed to cut each block to fit. I started by measuring and putting layout marks on the blocks. Two of the pins were in my way, so I cut them off with the sawzall. I used the jigsaw to cut on the layout line on both sides of the block. Blade was not quite long enough, so I used the sawzall to cut the rest of the way through. In order to make a pocket on the cut side of the block, I needed to make another cut with the jigsaw. Every place where a block goes over a carrying beam, the concrete needs to be bearing on it. I set the block in place and mark where the edge of the beam is. The block comes down and is cut with the jigsaw. A utility knife is used to cut a bevel on the top corner of the cut. This will make it a lot stronger, because right angles can cause a weak point in concrete. The last block on each course will need to be cut to fit. I'm cutting the pins off with the sawzall and saving the piece for later. I used the table saw to cut these blocks to length, because I could set the length and not have to measure and mark each piece. The saw blade needed to be set to 45 degrees for the last cut. There is a bevel cut on the top corner of the block, which will add strength to the concrete. The foam pins that I cut off earlier are used to plug the socket hole at the end of the block, so it will not fill up with concrete. The last block sits on top of the BuildBlock wall and needs a little encouragement to set it in place. If you are interested in the tools that I am using, I have added affiliate links in the description of this video. Thank you for watching until the end.